Iran has launched what officials and monitoring sources describe as one of the most intense missile barrages of the ongoing confrontation with Israel, unleashing a wave of powerful long-range weapons that struck multiple major cities across the country. The scale and intensity of the attack have drawn global attention as explosions, fires, and widespread destruction were reported across several key regions. According to Iranian statements circulating through regional media, the strike was part of what Tehran described as its largest coordinated missile operation so far in the confrontation with Israel. Iranian officials said the barrage was intended to demonstrate the reach and power of their missile arsenal and to deliver what they called a strategic message after weeks of escalating military exchanges between the two sides. As per sources monitoring regional air defense alerts and missile tracking systems, the barrage targeted several of Israel's most important population centers and strategic areas. Among the locations mentioned in reports were Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Haifa, and the Negev region in southern Israel. Each of these areas plays a critical role in Israel's national infrastructure, political leadership, economic activity, and military operations. Jerusalem serves as the country's political and administrative center. Tel Aviv is widely regarded as Israel's economic hub and one of its most densely populated urban centers. Haifa hosts major port facilities and industrial infrastructure along the Mediterranean coast. Meanwhile, the Negev region in southern Israel contains strategic military bases, research installations, and key transportation routes. The decision to target multiple regions simultaneously appears to have been designed to overwhelm Israel's defensive systems and stretch emergency response resources across the country. Before we break down how this massive missile barrage unfolded and the destruction reported across several cities, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the latest updates on global conflicts, military developments, and geopolitical events shaping the world. As per sources monitoring the situation, early warning systems across Israel were triggered as radar networks detected waves of incoming missiles approaching the country from long range. Air raid sirens sounded across multiple cities as residents were warned to move toward shelters. Israel's multi-layered air defense network was immediately activated in response to the incoming barrage. The country's defensive architecture includes several different systems designed to intercept various types of threats, from short-range rockets to long-range ballistic missiles. However, according to several monitoring sources and analysts observing the situation, the scale and speed of the incoming missiles created an extremely challenging scenario for the defense network. Iranian officials later stated that the attack involved some of the most powerful missiles currently in their arsenal. Among the weapons reportedly used in the operation were the Fatah hypersonic missile, the Khaybar Shekin ballistic missile, and the Sedjil long-range ballistic missile. Each of these systems represents a different category of advanced missile technology designed to reach distant targets with high speed and destructive force. The Fatah hypersonic missile has been described by Iranian officials as a weapon capable of traveling at extremely high speeds while maneuvering during the final phase of its flight. Such maneuverability can make interception significantly more difficult because defensive systems must predict the missile's trajectory in order to launch interceptors. Hypersonic weapons move at speeds exceeding several times the speed of sound, dramatically reducing the reaction time available to air defense networks. The Khaybar Shekin ballistic missile, another weapon reportedly used in the barrage, is designed as a precision strike system capable of delivering heavy payloads over long distances. Iran has previously presented this missile as part of its effort to develop more accurate long-range strike capabilities. Its warhead is designed to cause significant structural damage when it reaches its target. The third major system mentioned in Iranian statements was the Sedjil long-range ballistic missile. This missile is known for its solid fuel propulsion system, which allows it to be launched more quickly than older liquid fuel missiles. Solid fuel technology also makes such missiles easier to prepare for launch and potentially harder to detect before they are fired. According to Iranian officials, the combination of these missile types was intended to increase the complexity of the attack and challenge defensive systems through different flight profiles and speeds. As per sources monitoring the situation in Israel, the incoming missiles triggered interception attempts from multiple layers of the country's defense network. Interceptors were launched towards several incoming threats in an effort to destroy them before impact. Bright flashes were reportedly seen in the sky as defensive missiles attempted to engage incoming projectiles. However, analysts observing the barrage noted that not all of the incoming missiles were intercepted. Some projectiles reportedly continued through the defensive network and reached their target areas. In several cities, explosions were reported shortly after the interception attempts. Witnesses described powerful blasts that shook buildings and sent shockwaves through surrounding neighborhoods. In Tel Aviv, fires were reported in parts of the city following the impact of several missiles. Emergency crews were deployed to extinguish flames and search damaged structures. Debris from damaged buildings reportedly scattered across streets as rescue teams worked to secure affected areas. Tel Aviv's dense urban environment means that even limited missile strikes can have significant consequences for infrastructure and civilian safety. Meanwhile, in Haifa, explosions were reported near industrial areas and port-related infrastructure. Thick smoke was seen rising above sections of the city following the impacts. Haifa's strategic port facilities play a key role in Israel's maritime trade and industrial activity, making the city a critical location in the country's national infrastructure network. Reports from the Jerusalem area also indicated that several explosions were heard after defensive systems attempted to intercept incoming missiles. Emergency services were mobilized quickly as authorities began assessing the situation in the capital region. The targeting of Jerusalem carries enormous political and symbolic significance because of the city's central role in Israel's political and national identity. In the Negev region, multiple impacts were reported near areas known to contain military installations and research facilities. The Negev Desert hosts several strategic bases and infrastructure sites connected to Israel's defense sector. Strikes in this region therefore carry both military and strategic implications. As per sources monitoring emergency response activity across the country, rescue teams, firefighters, and security forces were deployed rapidly following the barrage. Authorities worked to secure damaged areas, extinguish fires, and search buildings affected by the explosions. In some locations, buildings reportedly suffered heavy structural damage. Walls collapsed, windows shattered, and sections of infrastructure were severely affected by the blasts. Images circulating through monitoring networks showed damaged structures and debris scattered across impacted neighborhoods. The scale of the attack has raised significant concerns among analysts about the evolving capabilities of missile technology in modern warfare. Missile systems such as the Fatah hypersonic missile represent a new generation of weapons designed specifically to challenge traditional air defense systems. Their speed and maneuverability reduce the time available for defensive interceptors to respond. Meanwhile, missiles like the Sejil and Khaibar Shekan combine long range with heavy payload capacity, increasing their destructive potential when they reach their targets. Iranian officials have repeatedly emphasized their missile program as a central component of their national defense strategy. The country has invested heavily in developing missiles capable of reaching distant targets and penetrating sophisticated defense networks. According to Iranian statements, the barrage against Israel was intended to demonstrate what they describe as the operational readiness and reach of their missile forces. The attack also reflects the growing role of missile warfare in modern conflicts. Instead of relying solely on aircraft or ground forces, countries increasingly use long-range missile systems to project power across large distances. These weapons allow strikes to be carried out rapidly and with significant destructive impact. For Israel, the barrage represents one of the most intense missile attacks faced in recent years. The country's defensive systems have historically intercepted a large percentage of incoming rockets and missiles. However, the scale and complexity of large coordinated barrages can place enormous pressure on interception networks. Air defense systems must track multiple incoming objects simultaneously and allocate interceptors accordingly. When dozens of missiles approach from different directions and at different speeds, the challenge becomes significantly greater. This is why some analysts believe the barrage may have been designed specifically to overwhelm defensive capacity through sheer volume and speed. Beyond the immediate destruction, the attack has also intensified concerns about further escalation between Iran and Israel. The two countries have been engaged in a long-running confrontation involving covert operations, cyber activities, and occasional military strikes. Direct, large-scale missile exchanges between them represent a significant escalation of that conflict. International observers are now watching closely to see how the situation develops in the aftermath of the barrage. Governments across the region have expressed concern about the potential for further military escalation. Diplomatic channels may play an important role in attempting to prevent the conflict from expanding further. At the same time, military analysts are studying the technical aspects of the missile barrage in order to better understand the capabilities demonstrated during the attack. Data collected from radar systems, interception attempts, and damage assessments may provide valuable insights into the evolving dynamics of missile warfare. The events reported across Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Haifa, and the Negev region highlight how strategic missile strikes can affect multiple aspects of national infrastructure simultaneously. Urban centers, industrial facilities, transportation networks, and military installations can all become potential targets during such operations. For now, emergency services and authorities continue to assess the damage caused by the barrage, while security forces remain on high alert. As investigations continue and more information becomes available, the full scale of the destruction and the broader implications for regional stability will become clearer. What is already evident, however, is that the missile barrage launched by Iran represents a dramatic escalation in the ongoing confrontation. With advanced weapons such as the Fatah hypersonic missile, the Khaybar-Shekin ballistic missile, and the Sejil long-range missile reportedly involved, the attack has drawn worldwide attention to the growing power of modern missile technology. And as both sides evaluate the consequences of this intense exchange, the world continues to watch closely, aware that events unfolding in this region could have far-reaching implications for international security and geopolitical stability.